In your own words, what's your definition of fashion?
Fashion to me is
Fashion is something that you can look at to describe the time that we're living in.
If you look back at early 1900s, but like people who are high class, you know, like they have like these big dresses, they have suits.
We look into the 50s and the way that women dress represented the culture of the women staying at home.
And as time progresses, people become a bit more, I guess I would say like liberal in like the way that they dress. And so like they dress less and less, like even bikinis you can see have gone from like one piece to like two pieces.
so I feel like fashion, it like expresses your emotions and how you view yourself. So like if you're insecure, you can tell that by what you're wearing.
My style is kind of like all over the place. I'm like very inspired by Lady Gaga, and she's constantly changing up her look. So I try to like have different things and different styles incorporated into my looks like all the time.
I don't know. I think it's a little different than what most people wear.
I can't really put it into a style because like when you go thrifting there's like a million different styles all there, and I just wear what makes me happy, so I really can't put it into like a category other than like secondhand.
Clothes tell a lot. I think that's like the biggest thing. Like it like gives people the first original perspective of your personality. I feel like if you're wearing like some flashy clothes or whatever, you're probably like a little bit more outgoing. And if you really enjoy like being in your sweats a lot, like say people who always wear sweatpants, it's like they really enjoy just feeling relaxed, and they're probably like more relaxed individuals.
Or what I think I convey with my clothes is that I do have compassion and passion, that I'm in charge, and that I have confidence in what I'm wearing, but also what I'm working on.
My dress is it's just pretty bland and casual, to be honest.
Just casual?
Like it's usually just like jeans and like a plain t-shirt that's maybe it has like a V neck to it and it's kind of tight because I'm not very big, but I like to, try and look big with 10-year shirts.
When I do go to work, I love the fact that I'm able to be business professional, being in a suit, being able to change the color of the assortment, the ties.
I don't really see myself as a very like sexual person, and I just never dress like sexually. Like my pants are elastic, and I mean like I just don't really own a lot of like quote unquote sexy clothes because it's not really like me.
When I was growing up, I always wanted to be wearing suits. So I had this kind of feeling that, I mean, I had never worn a suit in my life, but people who were always wearing suits kind of had a sophisticated sensation, and kind of people kind of looked up to them with higher expectations and whatnot. So kind of when I got into school, I wanted to get in a field where I'd be able to be wearing suits every single day, which kind of lands to right now where I'm at.
I was about to ask you, who inspires you the most?
I get a lot of inspiration from Instagram. Because I like to follow a lot of bloggers or like pages that have a certain style of clothes that I'm into.
Instagram, it's my favorite social media.
Tumblr, get inspired by traveling. Like I just got back from Japan.
As far as inspiration goes, well, if I'm trying to be dressy and maybe like Zendaya or
Yes,
she
yeah.
dressed great. Dang, I wish I could be like her. I feel like everyone says Beyonce because Beyonce can do no wrong.
Do you agree or disagree? Do you think that culture can affect the way we, as college students, dress?
The way we college students dress. Absolutely.
I agree. True.
One of the really interesting things I think about when I think of culture is, for college students specifically, is that the culture around college students is like is sort of like a melding pot of
Okay.
a bunch of different stuff.
We have students from come from different cultures, whether it may be from the Middle East, from Africa, or Asia Pacific, and you can tell that some of the clothing they may be wearing is stuff that kind of falls within their culture.
So I was born in Germany. I'm from the South, and in the South there's like a traditional dress, and this piece of clothing is like a dress. It's like your typical like kind of milkmaid dress. I share all my clothes with my roommates, and we'll like exchange clothes and clothing swap, but like that one's definitely off limits. It's like a piece of my culture, not only, but it's just a really emotionally important piece of clothing to me, and I very seldom wear it, just on special occasions.
There's plenty of cultural celebrations in which people have different designated pieces of clothing. I mean, there's this holiday that we celebrated down at the Hispanic American Council where people were dressing up in like Aztec warrior uniforms. And then we talk about things like hijabs. I mean, I've heard of people who come here and even maybe they don't religiously associate that like others have, but they still feel like it's part of their where they're from and a part of their culture and a part of their being.
You mentioned that your parents would be like, what are you wearing? Like, why are you wearing those clothes, right? But besides them, have you ever had another experience where people treat you differently because of the way you're dressed, or vice versa? Have you ever treated someone differently?
That's a good question right there.
During the summertime, I am an advocate for freeing yourself. So for girls, it's like not wearing a bra with something that normally you wouldn't wear a bra with. Free the nipple.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm for. So when people see you free the nipple, they get a little uncomfortable with you. And a lot of people really do get uncomfortable with seeing like girls freeing it, you know?
Yeah.
And I feel like, let it go. It looks great, honestly.
I skate a lot. Like I go skating a lot.
Okay, like skateboarding?
Like roller skating.
Oh, okay.
You know, like roll bounce. My mom called me out for this all the time, but I sag a lot. And I was roller skating, and I was sagging while I was roller skating. I wasn't like, they wasn't down to my knees, nothing crazy. I did like a trick, and my shirt came up a little bit, but then, you know, I pulled my shirt back down. And there's like, they have like a referee at the roller rink, and he was like,
hey, I need you to pull your pants up.
And I was like,
What are you talking about?
He was like, you can't be sagging on the floor while you're skating. And I was like, why? He said something like, it's not appropriate for like the other kids that's here and stuff.
Do you want to check out the lounge?
Okay, let's go. So where are you taking me?
To the game room.
Okay. Ooh, do you know how to play pool?
No.
No? Wait, let me be on this side, because the light is facing this way. It's really cold in here. What is that?
Do you want to go to the piano room?
Yeah.
Okay, let's go.
All right, so I think this is my last question for you. Do you agree or disagree with the following statement? Fashion is a visual language.
Agree.
100%?
100%. I agree.
I think that is also how we communicate to each other, you know, like if I'm walking around in like sweats all the time, then like it shows that I'm pretty like chill. I don't really worry about like what other people are thinking of me.
Fashion is like this universal language. So fashion maybe is not the same all around the world, like the same what's trending here in the US isn't necessarily trending in like Africa. But I think more like generally it's what you wear, and then if you go to like China and there's this language barrier, but maybe they really like your outfit and then they like try to communicate, you know?
Definitely think it's a visual language, a way of expressing yourself that everyone else can see. When someone sees you, they may think one thing about you, whether they interpret it wrong or interpret it right. So it just depends on what you like and what you like to wear.
So, all right. So, you know how when I first approached you, right? I told you that I was going to do a social experiment, right?
Right.
All right. So, are you up for it?
Am I up for it? I guess I am. Yeah, I'm a little too late now. Yeah, of course.
For sure. All right. So, basically what I'm going to do is have my subjects dressed out of context. This means that instead of wearing what you usually wear on a regular basis, it's gonna change.
The part that I'm most nervous.
There are some people, right, that have the mindset like yourself. The clothes are just clothes, right? So within the socio-psych aspects of dress, there's this like, and so like the inner layer has to do with the self, who you are, who do you identify with. Then there's the aspect of clothes, and then there's the social environment to it. The interactions of garments, meaning that you could wear, let's say if you have a plaid shirt, right? And the plaid is medium size, you could pair it up with pants with prints, and it's the same plaid, but just like in a different or like bigger size, or it could be a different color, or it could be the plaid and the camel, or like floral and camel. You know what I mean?
Yeah, okay.
So just to get like people's reactions. But I do have to approve it just to make sure it is out of context. And so I have to go get something for you. Black and yeah, black. Red? Okay. So that's for you.
Okay.
So I want my interviewees to basically record their experience. But you have the option, if you don't feel comfortable, of keeping, if you don't feel comfortable with keeping a video diary, just like use the notebook. Pretty much. And like I said, record the experience.
Like, should I record myself walking around, or?
Okay, so you know like how YouTubers basically blog?
Oh, okay.
Kind of like that, but the reactions that you get from people and how they make you feel. Does that make sense? So
just
like,
from other people or myself?
Just yourself, because you're the one wearing the clothes.
Okay.
And then the next day, I want you to just dress like normal and compare and contrast between the 2 days. Does that make sense? And then we'll meet up again for the second interview. How does that sound?
Sounds good. I'm excited.
Yeah, I'm gonna just try to get the overthinking out of my head and just let go and be in it.
So walking and talking, I'm wearing a bright orange shirt from where I used to work over the summer, a green plaid long sleeve shirt, and my pants are floral. They're from high school, and I want to wear.
The rest of the day, I'm wearing a plaid pink blue shirt, and on the outside, I'm wearing a striped green and brown V-neck. I would never usually go out like this, but I'm doing it for the documentary. So we'll see what kind of reactions I get on this.
This is the fit that I chose today. It is a full leaf turtleneck with, well, this is my coat. It's actually a bathrobe, but I wear it as a coat. And my little cardigan over it has like a tropical floral pattern going on.
I'm feeling a little bit uncomfortable, but you know, I'm ready.
I don't really think that anybody's gonna say anything.
I'm a little bit nervous that people are looking at me weird just because I'm like talking to the camera. I'm running late to class, so people will definitely see me when I walk in. Hopefully they'll think I'm running late, so that's why. That's why I'm late, because I was choosing this outfit, but maybe they'll understand.
I'm excited to see what my friends are gonna say, if they're gonna laugh at me, or if they're just gonna, I don't know. I'm not really too sure what I'm expecting people to say, but it's gonna be interesting. It'll be interesting getting the looks too, but I'm ready. Let's do it.
I'll keep you updated.
What was your experience?
Sucked. The sucky part was being somebody who, I naturally don't really care about what other people think. And I think for me it was walking around in clothes that I was like when I got up in the morning and I pulled the clothes out. I'm wearing a collared shirt up and some sweatpants, jogging pants.
Yeah.
I was like, dang it, why did I sign up for this?
I had a lot of fun doing it because the outfits or the pieces that I chose to create the weird outfit were all some of my favorite pieces, so it was kind of fun to just throw them all together. And I was really surprised that anybody said anything because I've worn all those so many times before. This morning my nursing professor said, "I love your jacket." She was talking about the bathrobe. a coworker of mine said, "You look like you're about to teach a crazy art class." It was just super funny because the comments that I got were super ridiculous.
Dressing out of context was weird for me because like I'm so like set in my ways when it comes to my style, and I'm usually like super casual. I mean, not casual, but like, you know, more elegant than what I was wearing during my out of context day. I don't know, like people would look at me differently. I just got out of my meeting with one of my mentors, and she was like, "What the hell are you wearing?" And I had to explain the whole situation to her, and it was so funny. And we met at a restaurant, and the waitress was giving me the weirdest side eye. It was just great. So now I'm heading into class. I have class at the Hayward College of Business, so we're gonna see how these business students appreciate my style today. I feel like I was standing out even more than usual.
Yeah, totally.
It was, you know, I wouldn't say I felt uncomfortable. I was more like pissed off at people for like glaring at me.
Yeah.
Because I would get like these weird like side like eyes, you know, like what the hell. And then, yeah, I was more pissed off than anything.
It was cool. I mean, I didn't mind it too much. Like my friends laughed at me. I'm about to go into my friend Marshall's room. Let's see what he thinks about my outfit. What's up, Marshall?
Bro, what are you wearing?
And then I just took it. I was like, I'm doing it for the documentary. And they were like, oh, okay, that's cool. It was just weird, like, with people that I don't really know, because I would still have to, like, interact with them.
Right.
And they were not comfortable enough to be like, why are you wearing that? And I'm not comfortable enough to be like, hey, just so you know, what I'm wearing is not because I want to wear this or whatever. So
when I dressed up, first of all, like kind of talk about like what I wore, which is that I wore like khaki pants and a black polo, so that was normal.
Right.
But then on top of that, I wore blue swim trunks on top of the khakis, and then I wore like these like blue art sea socks on the outside of my pants, and then a blue plaid shirt inside out, so it all kind of matched. And then I was like, I really need a jacket today, but I don't want to wear a regular jacket that covers everything up, so I wore a blazer, and that brought it all together. When I went down to the dining hall, like the guy who normally like swipes me in, he acted normal, but like he couldn't help but smile, and he like held his head low with like his hat like covering his face, but I could tell he was like his smile was like breaking, and he was trying really hard not to laugh.
Trying to be nice.
Yeah, he didn't make a whole lot of eye contact, but it was funny.
When I first put it on, I was like, holy like crap. I'm gonna get so many weird looks today. I was looking at myself weird. But in the morning when I went to eat breakfast, I got a few like, you know, kind of like, what is she wearing looks a little bit. But then as the day went on, you know, people are still in their own world, so they weren't paying too much attention.
I ran into some people that I have in class. So I guess just that kind of like they saw me, but it was like, oh, like in my head I was like, I'm not dressed like I'm normally am. So I felt a little bit out of place there because I was like, these people, because most of the people didn't know me, so I was like, whatever.
Yeah.
But like when I ran into people that I did know, I felt a little bit more uncomfortable.
That's, yes. All right, so, yeah, because, okay, one of my hypotheses was that if I were to place someone, right, dressed out of context and in a social setting, they would become more conscious about what they were wearing. And that's exactly what you were telling me. He was like, I feel uncomfortable because people that I didn't know were going to look at me like.
Yeah, but like the people that I didn't know, it was like, whatever.
I think that when you see like the way people like act differently towards you or treat you differently from like what you're wearing, it makes you want to be more conscious about what you're wearing because it really is like creating that first image in people's eyes of who you might be. But at the same time, it's like I don't think your clothes should tell people who you are, but it does. And I know my clothes tell me who I am. Like you can look at my clothes and tell what kind of person I am. But I feel like it shouldn't be that way, but it is, and it is with me. So because I think it shouldn't be like that, I want to say that I would be less conscious, but overall I think I'm more conscious about my clothes from this.
So my question is, so then do you think that clothes can communicate messages then?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Like I said, I'm no fashionista.
I think everyone has a little bit of it.
But even if you think you're not necessarily making a statement with your clothes, I still think you're making a statement with your clothes.
I agree.
Because if you're like, oh, I just threw on whatever, blah, 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 you're kind of saying, like, I don't really care what society wants. I don't really care. Even if you're like, I don't really care about how I look. I'm just going to wear what I like, or blah, blah, blah. You're saying, I don't care what I look like. I'm going to wear what I like. That's still a statement.
So that's something I noticed too. I would like notice more what other people were wearing. On a normal daily basis, I don't really look at what other people are wearing. But that day I was, and then it just to realize that how different I was dressed to other people. I think it also has to do with the weather though. Nobody right now is wearing like prints and colors,
right?
Because it's winter. But yeah.
The message. When I was wearing the outfit. The message, probably like, I don't care, kind of thing. Yeah, I think that just, I want to wear what I want to wear, and I don't care where anyone else thinks. I think that's probably the message I was sending.
And comparing it to your everyday, outfits that you wear, did you see the contrast between the two, like?
Oh, 100%. As I said, in the first video, my style is more comfortable, light, I'll wear leggings, yoga pants, sometimes jeans, jogging pants, and then like long sleeve shirts, sweaters, t-shirts. But with that experiment, I wore a bright green and black kind of lacy shirt.
Okay.
And then that multicolored, mainly white and black cardigan. And then jeans, like blue jeans, not like black jeans, and then some boots. So that's not typically, I usually don't wear colors that contrast
right
often at all, usually. That was back in my middle school days.
Just to wrap this up, give me one thing that you learned from the experiment and the whole experience itself, and then what is the best piece of advice that you can offer to people watching?
The thing that I did learn was that I don't think, granted I don't know for sure, but I don't think people care as much about what I look like. And that's something that I always think about, because I'm always really conscious that people are watching me. Like, even if I'm like getting a sip of water, I'm like, oh my god, somebody probably looking at me drinking this water. They're like, what is he doing? Like, and so I feel like I have to tell myself all the time that nobody cares. Not like in a mean way, but like nobody cares what I'm doing. And so I think this is like kind of nice, because I was like, I'm dressed crazy right now and nobody cares. And so it was like kind of reassuring a little bit. And that's sort of my piece of advice too, is that just be yourself, because I don't think people care as much as you care. At the end of the day, other people don't care about what you look like as much as you care about what you look like.
What I learned from the experience is to just express yourself in any way, shape, or form that you like. Go and be yourself and be free.
Definitely not worry about what other people are thinking. You got to be confident in your own skin, be confident in your own clothing. Do what works for you, and don't try to like adjust to what other people say as like, good enough. I'm not out here wearing Gucci. I'm just like really open to expressing myself regardless of my clothing, and I feel like the people that are important are the people that are going to see past the clothing.